Here's another one of those videos which will single-handedly bring down my overall like to dislike
Damn,
ratio.
20
If you've
million
followed this channel for a
dislikes?
while, you might know that I'm quite forgiving when it comes to isekai and the associated genres. When I started watching anime, I didn't go down the major shonen route. I instead chose the major isekai path. As such, me and mediocre isekai shows have a dysfunctional relationship. What's the technical term? Stockholm Syndrome. I like isekai, so when I found out that a well-received, critically acclaimed isekai light novel was receiving a high-profile, star-studded anime adaptation, I was quite excited. I watched this show weekly as it aired and I just couldn't get into it. While the first episode was quite promising, I found my interest dwindling as the show rolled on. In this video, I'll try to explain why. Now, before you berate me in the comments, know that these are my opinions. These are the reasons why I don't like this show. Make sure to subscribe. Of course, there's the creepy factor. Since that's the obvious one, I'll talk about it later. The biggest issue I have with this show, aside from the aforementioned creepy stuff, is how seriously it takes itself. Now let me make myself clear. It should take itself seriously based on the themes it tackles. Attempting to move past your traumas and failures from your past life is a matured concept, and it should be presented seriously. The show can fall apart if they don't do so, but at the same time, this seriousness leads to some issues. Right off the bat, Rudy's shenanigans made me lose interest. You call it shenanigans, I call it behavior that warrants.
Yeah, I'm not gonna cap. Yeah, I'm not gonna cap. Rudius made me dislike Mushoku Tensei. I'm just gonna say. I'm just gonna say. The story revolves around Rudius. Most of the time, he's at the center of the story. With all the weird shit that is happening, you're telling me that I should just overlook it. Mind you, most of the time, the story revolves around him. He is the MC. So if the MC does some weird, uncomfortable things that I feel uncomfortable with, should I just look past it? It would be one thing if Rudius is a side character. That would be one thing. But he's the main character. But hey, let's just watch the video. If I want to rant about Mushoku Tensei on why I don't like it, it would be like 2 hours.
Time. You know, that whole creepy toddler fiasco. Let me use a series that I do love as an example. The Monogatari series features a lot of questionable stuff, some of which is similar to Mushoku, but that show is so quirky and uniquely presented, you can get through the questionable stuff without taking it too seriously. Mushoku, on the other hand, is dead serious for most of its runtime, so when Rudy goes around worshipping underwear, I don't look at it in a fun, look, he's so quirky way. I look at it in a what in the actual is wrong with this man way. Does that make sense? Basically, since most of this show is serious and has a matured presentation, the scenes which are hopefully supposed to be comedic in nature end up coming off as weird. Again, to me. Although even if I look at those scenes in a vacuum, I don't find them entertaining in any way. Who is this for? If you find this stuff funny, good for you, I guess. I don't. If you find this stuff relatable, I implore you to turn yourself in to the authorities.
Relatable. Nigga, who relates to this nigga? Okay, my fault.
Rudy's behavior was an aspect I could not get behind or turn a blind eye to. It basically made me roll my eyes at everything he did throughout this series. That's two eye-related figures of speech, I swear it wasn't on purpose. Rudy's questionable behavior was one of the biggest reasons why the first few episodes didn't grab my attention, or to be more accurate, why they did grab my attention but lost it shortly thereafter. The first episode did stand out to me, although that was largely because of the production value. Another issue I had with this show is also tied to the same cause. I felt like a major chunk of this show was dull. I have seen and read a lot of isekai and or fantasy titles. I mean a lot. And in my mind, I associate this group of genres with a junk food-like sense of fun. The entire sequence of episodes post Turning Point 1 involved the group going to a place, doing a thing, leaving and repeat. Also, I didn't find the said thing all that interesting. Now again, in theory, this should have been good. Depicting the classic hunting fantasy monsters in a brutal and realistic manner is a good thing. Oh, you want to take on this quest? Here's a 50-foot cobra on steroids waiting to tear you apart. Oh, what's that? Slavery? That's actually a bad thing, even in another world. This is an aspect that should have benefited from how seriously this show takes it.
The production level on Mushoku Tensei is crazy. Ignore the weird shit. The animation itself, like the anime itself, like the production level, is just so fucking awesome. I was like, damn, where did this story get this much level of production, bro? I mean, we got One Punch Man season 3 struggling to hold decent amount of animation, bro. Hey, no shade to One Punch Man though. No shade to One Punch Man. But that's what I'm saying. I'm I'm guessing a lot of people love it and it generates a good amount of money. But hey, I'm not an enthusiastic on Mushoku Tensei, so
Been a breath of fresh air in a genre which often presents these concepts in a light-hearted manner, but to me, it fell flat. And neither the premise nor the execution was at fault. It's just that I couldn't get into these episodes because of who the protagonist was. In my mind, Rudy is a weird individual. As such, I find it very difficult to root for him in any situation. Rudy is the issue. No matter how promising the plot is, I cannot get into it because of him.
that's what I'm saying. Rudius is the problem, bro. Yes, there are some characters that do some weird things, but if the story revolves around the person who is weird as fuck, I don't how am I supposed to get into that, bro? But hey, no hate. I'm just expressing my honest feeling. No hate. If you like it, I don't have a problem. We all have different tastes. That is one thing about me. I don't hate on certain anime. I cannot go like, you know what? I hate that anime. No, I don't hate it. If I don't like it, I'm gonna give you a reason on why me, I don't like it. If you understand me.
Mentioned. I was essentially watching a series without a protagonist at this point, because he ain't my MC. At this point, I do not care about Rudy, especially after a certain event that occurs later on. I'll talk more about that in a bit. And since his character
Yeah,
is
we
the
don't talk
most
about that.
important thing about this series, I do not care about this series. The slight amount of intrigue I had was gone by the end of the first core. While the concept behind his character arc is really good, it stopped appealing to me because of his behavior. And I know what you're thinking. Well, probably pretentious, that's way too long, nobody would ever say that name out loud. Let me rephrase that. Well, Rudy is supposed to be creepy. That's his character flaw. He isn't perfect, nobody is. Well, Mr. Viewer, that doesn't change the fact that I have to put up with his uncomfortable behavior for over 20 episodes. I don't know if he does change, but he hasn't yet, and it's been a while. When you introduce a character flaw, you are supposed to resolve it, either by removing the flaw somewhere down the line, or presenting the flaw as something the character can be proud of. You can't just introduce a flaw that affects people's viewing experiences in a negative way and do nothing about it, assuming I'm not the only one who's bothered by this stuff. Of
Okay, I'm gonna do a little quick story about my experience when the first season dropped. I got a recommendation to watch Mushoku Tensei. I watched it. Mind you, I'm still in the time where I was just consuming anime, everything interested me. So I watched Mushoku Tensei. First episode, the first episode is very questionable, bro. But hey, I'm still new to Mushoku Tensei. I was like, okay, okay, well, you know what? It's an isekai. He probably gonna get some kind of redemption and shit. Watch like the 5 episodes and shit. Okay, okay, okay. It's clean. It's clean. Even though a little bit questionable. You know when you're watching something and you go, oh, oh, that was me throughout the whole first season, bro. When I finished the first season, I don't know. Unlike other animes that I watch, it kind of left a bit of taste in my mouth. Pause, pause, pause. But yeah, I didn't see myself rewatching it because At some point, I was like, oh, okay, okay, I love this. But at some point, I was like, bro, like, why would you do that? Like, why would you add this? But hey, it is a mature anime for mature audience. But for me, though, it was like, then people kept telling me, oh, you should read the light novel. Rudius gets his redemption. I was like, okay, I'm holding on to that. I read until spoilers, until bro was dead, Rudius' dad, that arc. Which I read the novel like a while back. Until Rudius is dead, I kept asking myself, where is the redemption? Literally, we had a whole arc, bro. We had a whole arc on bro struggling to get his thing up, bro. Okay, no problem. But I'm asking myself, where is the redemption? It's crazy that like, a while back people were saying, "Oh, Rudius is gonna get his redemption. Is gonna get his redemption." Fast forward 2025. Oh nah, the story was not about his redemption. His bro, you see, when I say I don't like Mushoku Tensei, I don't like the bad guy. Like seriously, I got hate comments, bro. After I commented, I don't really like Mushoku Tensei. Then I gave my reasons. I'm telling you, the downvotes, the the hateful comments saying I don't understand the story, bro. I just don't like certain aspects of the story. Why do you keep shooting hateful comments? But hey, I understand. Probably felt like I was dissing your favorite anime. It's completely fine. I really don't engage in no hatefulness, bro. We all anime fans. We all love anime. Some anime you love, some you don't. It's the same thing. But yeah, that is my problem. Is the people that try to gaslight you to thinking that readers kind of get some his actions, bro. I feel like the other world literally doesn't challenge, bro, on his actions. But hey, let's continue the video.
Show has its positives. As I mentioned, some of the ideas and concepts are promising, and the all around production value is really impressive. The show, at least the first season, featured a stacked lineup of animators. The direction was matured and focused, and the animation largely kept up with the directorial ambition. While it didn't look anywhere near as impressive as the pre animated trailer, it did look really good. The
Ah,
quality
facts,
dipped a bit
facts.
in the second core, but it wasn't really an issue to me. This show looked great. It was a high profile production, and the visuals are the only reason why I'm still watching this show on a weekly basis. Although the second season is a lot weaker. The compositing is underwhelming with poor blending and excessive grainy filters. The drawing consistency is lower and the animation is largely lacking, with a couple of scenes looking bad. Kyukawa is trying his best to carry the action side of things, but there's only so much he can do. I hope we get a few of those all-star lineups this season. And now, let's talk about the event. And I have to watch my words here because it's YouTube. Let's see. In the penultimate episode of the second core, Rudy has intimate interactions with Ares. Ares being of an age considered not legal. And the amount of mental gymnastics that the Mushoku Tensei fans engage in to try and defend this is insane. The main argument is that Rudy being reborn is a hard reset, and he is indeed a kid, which is absolutely stupid because he clearly retains the memories of and the experiences from the 30-something years of his previous life. Also, how am I supposed to accept that when the show tells me otherwise? Rudy's internal voice is that of his adult self. He shows up as his old self when he's summoned by the man god.
See, this is a problem with Mushoku Tensei, bro. They keep on showing you, bro. They keep showing you the old Rudius. The story doesn't want you to forget. It doesn't want you to think that bro got a reset. No. The story makes you see that nah, this nigga is still this nigga. He is still the creepy old nigga that was doing weird shit in his past life, which is something that makes me as the watcher uncomfortable, like, especially when he's going to interact, not interacting like, oh, what's up, you know what I mean by interaction with kids from this world. But hey, it's fantasy, and nah, hell nah. Hell nah. Even if it's fantasy, bro, nah. I'm not giving this shit a pass, bro. Nah.
To interpret these things. The show is basically telling me that regardless of how young his physical body is, his mind and soul is that of a 30 something year old. Please feel free to present any arguments against my logic down in the comments. I probably won't respond to most of them, but I'll try and read as many of them as I can. The second main argument is that the fantasy world doesn't have any rules about this stuff, and Rudy's actions aren't anything out of the ordinary, which again is stupid because he spent more time on Earth where these rules do exist. As such, at best, he's taking advantage of the fact that certain Earth rules don't apply in the other world. There is a third argument according to which I'm supposed to dislike Rudy so his actions are fine, and there's nothing wrong with this concept, but I think that the hero of the story shouldn't cross this line, regardless of how unlikable he's supposed to be. It's just so incredibly creepy to me. Was it really necessary? Did they really need to include a scene like this with so many red flags? I say no. And that sums up my issues with this show. Rudy being incredibly weird and creepy, which makes me not want to root for him, which in turn makes the story feel dull because he is the protagonist. A lot of people were surprised when I said that I didn't like this show, so here's a video explaining why. Feel free to comment what you think of this series down in the comments section. That's about it. Did you like this video? You probably didn't, but subscribe.
Hey, I mean, I like the video. You're gonna see with the the down votes. You're gonna see who didn't like the video, but that pretty much sums it up on why I don't like Mushoku Tensei. World building, I'm clean as fuck. Characters, yeah, yeah, I don't know. With Rudius being the center line, yeah, yeah. I'm not giving that a pass, but I'm not hating on people who love it, and I'm not hating on it. I just don't like certain aspects of it. That I just want people to understand that, because I did say some characters, yeah, nah, but the the world outside the characters, move the characters aside, the world itself, awesome. Some moments, awesome as fuck. But there's this thing, bro. There's this thing. It's just, you know, but if the story revolves around Rudius, I, I, I don't feel comfortable watching it. I just don't like because of his all like weird shit and shit. But hey, let me know down in the comments on what you think about the video. Not mine, the one that was reacting to, but though. But yeah, let me know your thoughts though. Maybe one of y'all can change my mindset. Maybe they can make me look Mushoku Tensei in another light, which I find impossible. But hey,